Welcome back to Paradise Lost, book 1, around 128 or so. This is when Satan has just finished ranting and raving that, oh my gosh, I can't believe we lost the battle. What? I had no expectation that we would end up here. This is terrible. What do you think, old Beelzebub? And now Beelzebub is going to answer, and this is where we get Jeremy Irons' sort of smooth voice. Satan is charismatic, but Beelzebub, he's the sort of smooth-tongued, sexy beast. Oh, Prince. And he would say that, he'd go, oh, Prince. It's like a serpent. Oh, Prince, oh, chief of many throned paths that led the embattled seraphim to war under thy conduct, and in dreadful deeds fearless engendered heaven's perpetual king, and put to proof his high supremacy, whether upheld by strength or chance or fate. Too well I see and rue the dire event that with sad overthrow and foul defeat hath lost us heaven and all this mighty host in horrible destruction laid thus low as far as gods and heavenly essences can perish. For the mind and spirit remains invincible, and vigor soon returns, though all our glory extinct, and happy state he has swallowed up in endless misery. But what if he, our conqueror, whom I now of force believe almighty, since no less than such could have o'erpowered such a force as ours, have left us this spirit and strength entire strongly to suffer and support our pains, that we may so suffice his vengeful ire, or do him mightier service as his thralls by right of war, whate'er his business be, here in the heart of hell to work in fire, or do his errands in the gloomy deep? What then can it avail, though yet we feel strength undiminished, or eternal being, to undergo eternal punishment? It's a great speech that he gives, because he seems to be much more composed. He's almost mimicking Satan's speech with the parenthetical comment, but he's really asking the right questions, like, God won the war, so what can we learn from this? And we might be his slaves now. I mean, if you win a battle, it's your right to take these soldiers on as your servants. So we might just need to think this through. Welcome back. I'm in book 1 of Paradise Lost, around line 155. Satan just woke up on the lake of fire. He's mad. And then he looks at Beelzebub and he's like, what do you think? And Beelzebub's like, let's think this through, Satan. Take it back, take it down. We've got a problem, and all this, fretting and froing is not going to solve it. So he finishes, and Satan begins. So the narrator says, whereto with speedy words the archfiend replied. So here's angry Satan, you're angry. Fallen cherub, to be weak is miserable, doing or suffering. But if this be sure, to do aught good will never be our task, but ever to do ill our sole delight, as being contrary to his high will whom we resist. That's a great line. You'll hear it echoed in Frankenstein's words later on when we get to Frankenstein. And you'll also hear, remember, Shakespeare is a little bit older than Milton. And so you'll kind of hear a little bit of some echoes of Shakespeare every now and again, and this idea of what Satan is, or the devil would be to England in this period. So he's sort of this character who delights in like messing you up. Think about Iago, who says, well, okay, maybe we can't get Desdemona and Othello divorced, but we sure can bother him on his wedding night. And then he describes himself as a fly, which is wonderful because Beelzebub actually means Lord of the Flies. And so here's Beelzebub. If then his providence, I'm sorry, this is not Beelzebub, it's Satan. If then his providence out of our evil seeks to bring forth good, our labor must be to pervert that end, and out of good still to find means of evil, which oft times may succeed so as to perhaps shall grieve him, if I fail not, and disturb his inmost counsels from their destined aim. So even if I can't be successful, even if I try to make bad from his good and he makes good from my bad, and I'm gonna still keep trying to make bad from his good because I'm gonna bother him. But see, and now he is actually, like, this is a narrative, he's looking up, but look, but see, the angry victor hath recalled his ministers of vengeance and the ministers of vengeance and pursuit back to the gates of heaven. So all the angels that have come after them are now going back up to heaven. The sulphurous hail shot after us in storm o'erblown hath laid the fiery surge that from the precipice of heaven received us falling. And the thunder, winged with red lightning and impetuous rage, perhaps hath spent his shaft and ceases now to bellow through the vast and boundless deep. Let us not slip the occasion, whether scorn or satiate fury yield it from our foe. So I don't know why they're not pursuing us down here. I don't know if they're just not mad anymore or if they're just kind of done, but we have a pause, so let's take advantage of this. Seest thou yon dreary plain forlorn and wild, the seat of desolation, void of light, save what the glimmering of these livid flames casts pale and dreadful? Thither let us tend from off the tossing of these fiery waves. There rest, if any rest can harbor there, and reassembling our afflicted powers, consult how we may henceforth most offend our enemy, our own loss, how repair, how overcome this dire calamity, what reinforcement we may gain from hope, if not, what resolution from despair. Again, welcome back. Paradise Lost, Book 1, line 192 or so. Satan and Beelzebub are getting up off the lake of fire, so we're going to watch them kind of moving through this lake. So imagine yourself, if you're chest deep in water, what it looks like to walk through, and then imagine these sort of waves of flame rolling off your body, and this big powerful body, and this big adamantine shield, this sort of Captain America shield for the devil. Thus Satan, talking to his nearest mate, with head uplift above the waves and eyes that sparkling blazed. His other parts besides, prone on the flood, extended long and large. This is so beautiful. So what he looks like. He lay floating, many a rood, in bulk as huge as whom the fables name of monstrous size. Titanian or earthbound that warred on Jove, Briareos or Typhon, whom the den by ancient Tarsus held, or that sea beast, Leviathan, which God of all his works created, hugest, that swim the ocean stream. Him haply slumbering on the Norway foam, the pilot of some small night-foundered skiff, deeming some island oft, as seamen tell, with fixed anchor on his scaly rind, moors by his side under the lee, while night invests the sea and wished morn delays. So this is an epic simile in which Satan's body is compared to a whale so enormous, a sea creature so enormous that a ship actually anchors to it thinking it's an island. So stretched out huge in length, the arch-fiend lay, chained on the burning lake, nor ever thence had risen or heaved his head, but that the will and high permission of all-ruling heaven left him at large to his own dark designs, that with reiterated crimes he might heap on himself damnation while he sought evil to others, and enraged might see how all his malice served but to bring forth infinite goodness, grace, and mercy shown on man by him seduced, but on himself treble confusion, wrath, and vengeance poured. Forthwith, upright, he rears from off the pool his mighty stature. On each hand the flames driven backward sloped their pointing spires, and rolled in billows, leave in the midst a horrid veil. Then with expanded wings he steers his flight aloft, incumbent on the dusky air that felt unusual weight, till on dry land he lights. if it were land that ever burned with solid as the lake with liquid fire, and such appeared in hue. And here begins another epic simile. As when the force of subterranean wind transports a hill torn from Pelorus, or the shattered side of thundering Etna, whose combustible and fueled entrails thence, conceiving fire sublimed with mineral fury, aid the winds, and leaved in singed bottom all involved with stench and smoke. Such resting found the soul of unblessed feet. He describes him landing on the land. It's terrifying. It's like the explosion of the side of Mount Etna sort of falls away as the volcano explodes. Him followed next his mate, both glorying to have escaped the Stygian flood, and gods by their own recovered strength, not by the sufferance of supernatural power. So now Satan speaks again. This is his next speech. Is this the region? This the soil, the clime? Said then the lost archangel. This the seat that we must change for heaven, this mournful gloom for that celestial light? Be it so, since he who is now sovereign can dispose and bid what shall be right. Farthest from him is best, whom reason hath equaled, force hath made supreme above his equals. Farewell, happy fields, where joy forever dwells. Hail, horrors! Hail, infernal world, and thou, profoundest hell, receive thy new possessor, one who brings a mind not to be changed by place or time. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. This is actually reminiscent of the Faustian myth. Mephistopheles says this when he's called by Faust. Come to me and make my wishes come true. And he shows up, and Faust, in this very saucy way, sort of says, oh, well, I guess that you are not necessarily in hell because you're standing here and I'm not in hell. And Mephistopheles is like, hell is not a place, Bun Bun. Hell is a state of mind. And the Frankenstein's creature is going to say the same thing. He's going to say, it doesn't matter where you go, because anywhere you go, there you are. And you bring yourself with you. And if your mind is a hell, then everything you do and touch will be a hell also. What matter where, if I be still the same, and what I should be, all but less than he, whom thunder hath made greater? Here at least we shall be free. The Almighty hath not built here for his envy, will not drive us hence. Here we may reign secure, and in my choice, to reign is worth ambition, though in hell. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. But wherefore let we then our faithful friends, the associates and co-partners of our loss, lie thus astonished on the oblivious pool, and call them not to share with us their part in this unhappy mansion, or once more with rallied arms to try what may yet be regained in heaven, or what more lost in hell. So he kind of says, okay, well, now we got to get everybody else up, because I think it's better to reign here than it is to be servants in heaven. So my vote is here. Or maybe we can go back to war. That's another vote I have. Okay? See you in a minute.